It's not what you got, it's how you use it. Have you heard that expression before? I was just looking in the trash at the end of the driveway, and I had a family member that was putting out some things, doing some clearing, from our parents' home. My mother's in long-term care, and my father passed in 2019. Now, he was a diesel mechanic, heavy-duty mechanic, and had a lot of tools that never really, got used by myself. It kind of skipped an inclination. While there are, some the odd tool here and there, that was kept, there were many tools that were just in an abundance and just were not going to be useful, for our current living condition. So there was always that difficult choice to let some of those things go. And so I happened to be, just jumping in the car and, looking out to the end of the drive, and I walked out to see what was there, and, I found this ball peen hammer, which happened to be a tool that I've probably seen my father use in the past. And, my first reaction was, what's this doing in there? You know what I mean? Like, this is not garbage. We gotta keep this. It's, it belonged to my father. And then it kind of hit me, that, some of the tools and the things that he had are still here, and he's not. And it was almost upsetting to me. It made me think, man, how is it that these inanimate objects, these tools, can live to be more useful than, live longer and more useful than what we are? That these things can be around for 100 years while we may only live 70 or 80 years or longer, and kept around as antiques. And I don't know, it was almost an upsetting thought. And then as I was, thinking about this and wondering this and pondering this question, I was walking into the kitchen, and I heard, some music playing in the background, and it was an old song by Carrie Lucas called "It's Not What You Got, It's How You Use It." It's not what you got, it's how you use it. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, it was just a moment in synchronicity. I was thinking to myself, what is the meaning of that, as I'm sitting here having this thought about my father and the tools, and it's not what you got, it's how you use it. And it made me think about how, the use of the tool sitting there by itself, not doing anything, not being used by me, doesn't have any value. The only time that the tool was valuable was when it was in my father's hand, creating something, fixing something, repairing something, building something. By itself, it can't do anything. It only became valuable when it was in my father's hands. And we are here for a limited amount of time, for which we can bring value today and be valuable tomorrow. The tools that we use, sometimes we need them, so we pick them up when we use them, and then sometimes we put them away. But there's no reason for us to essentially be attached to them, other than to know what value did they create based on whose hands they were in. And it was just something that came to me in that moment, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to just make a quick video about this, because maybe you're somebody who, is hanging on to something that could be better off in the hands of somebody else, for whom it's going to add value to their lives. I'm looking at this hammer right now, and I'm thinking, part of me is like, oh, I want to keep it because it was my dad's. But the thought that came to my mind also is that, there may be somebody else that is going to use this ball peen hammer the same way that my father did, and be able to add value in their lives. And if that's something that can be passed on and passed forward from something that my father decided to purchase, use, and add value, and now that somebody else can go and use it, because maybe in the majority of cases I might not, maybe that's the best use for it. And there was something that just felt good about that, versus this feeling of a tool outlasting, the life of my father. Instead, it's the value that continues forward from the people for whom it is in the right hands to be. So if you have a situation where, you have a hard time letting go of something, maybe because you've lost somebody and you're attached to that inanimate object, just ask yourself, if it's not something that you're continuing to use yourself and adding value with, who else's hands could it be better in? It's not what you have, it's how you use it. Steve out.